for Wednesday, February 24th. I'll call the meeting to order at 5:15. And at this end, we will rise and say the pledge of allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will Chairman, just a quick reminder that if you could go on mute if you're not speaking, that'd be great. Get a little feedback. Okay, Mr. Castine.
I'm muted. I'm here.
Mr. Conroy is absent. Mr. Hall.
Here.
Mr. Henry. Here. Mr. Hughes. Here.
Can you put the
Here.
thing at the top so you can see everybody?
Mr. Boddicker.
Here.
Mr. Timmons.
Here.
Ms. Waldron.
Here.
You have a quorum, sir. You.
The bottom?
Yeah.
Sheriff.
Ah, okay. It's too dark. I couldn't see who the hell he was. For me, anyway. Okay. All legislators have received a copy of the stenographer's minutes for February 20th, 2021 regular session. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I will entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Motion.
I have a motion from Rick and a second from Patty. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? With our virtual format tonight, we will not be having public comment. However, members of the public are welcome to express their concerns or comments by emailing us at legislature@clintoncounty.gov. That's legislature@clintoncounty.gov.com. We will now move on to the committee reports. Each of our legislators chair one of the 10 standing committees, and I will call upon the chairperson of each committee in alphabetical order by committee. Starting with Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Conroy's not with us this evening.
I have it, Chairman.
You have a report?
Yes, on behalf of Legislator Conroy, the Buildings and Grounds Committee has not met since the last regular session. However, James Cleveland, the Superintendent of Buildings and Grounds, has reported that the department continues to disinfect all facilities daily and deep cleaning departments that have had employees that have tested positive or under quarantine. He stated staff worked with Pipeline Mechanical to perform an emergency repair of a leaking boiler at the 130 Arizona Avenue Mental Health Facility on Saturday, and the repair was successful, restoring heat by early evening. He noted with the recent snowstorm, the department has been busy clearing snow and ice from parking lots and sidewalks. Mr. Cleveland extended a special thanks to Carl Weiss, Highway Superintendent, and his staff for hauling away the snowbanks and supporting the Buildings and Grounds Department during cleanup of the storm. The next Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, March 8th at 4:30 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Children and Family Services, Legislator Potter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Children and Family Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. John Redden, the Commissioner of the Department of Social Services, stated the Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, OTDA, advised that they are providing an additional $343,429 in Emergency Solutions Grant COVID for Clinton County. Friends of the North Country will be the grant recipient and will work in partnership with the social services. The purpose of the funds are for eviction prevention for individuals and families that were unable to pay their rent or mortgage due to lost wages as a result of COVID. OTDA has not provided any additional information on procedures to administer this program. An informational meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 3rd. Public assistance, food stamps, and Medicaid caseloads remain fairly flat. Children Protective Services continues to see an increase in educational neglect reports from the schools as a result of virtual or hybrid schooling. Kids are not signing into school when home. The next Children and Family Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March 2nd at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Economic Development, Legislator Walden.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Economic Development and County Operations Committee has not met since the last regular session. Resolutions 102 through 107 have been pulled and placed on today's agenda as a result of the committee's recommendations. The next Economic Development and County Operations Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Tuesday, March 9th at 4 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Finance, Legislator Timmons.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Finance Committee is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, March 3rd at 5:15 via Zoom. End of report.
Thank you. Health Committee, Legislator Hughes.
The Health Committee hasn't met since our last regular session. Our next meeting is typically scheduled for March 2nd at 4:30 p.m. I believe Mr. Canosa and Mr. Day are here to give us an update.
All right. John and Eric.
Thank you, Mark, much appreciated. Mr. Hughes, I will give you a case update to talk a little bit about vaccination planning, what we've got going on, and a few other things for you. Our new cases continue on a daily basis to steadily decrease. Over the past 5 days, we have done much better than we had about 4 weeks ago after the holiday surge. Yesterday we had 24 new cases. Monday we had 32. We also had 32 on Sunday, 18 on Saturday, and on Friday we had 17. We're sitting on 173 active cases for patients in isolation right now. So, as most of you know, we had 4 deaths in the last 2.5 weeks. These 4 recent deaths were senior citizens transported from their nursing home facility to CVPH, and they had unfortunately passed away at CVPH. So we just have a large number of those that occurred in a very short amount of time. CVPH continues to be a point of concern because they are currently sitting on 22 positive cases in their facility at the current time. 2 are in the ICU. Fortunately, none of them are vented right now. So basically, ICU is pretty busy at CVPH, and that's a point of concern. They are the primary goal that we try to protect as much as we can. So we will continue to watch and hope that their numbers of in-house positive patients decline. As far as vaccinations go, last week, as you know, was the bad weather week across the country, primarily in Texas. We did receive 100 new doses for second doses, so those were done on Friday. This week, on the 23rd, yesterday, 106 doses, second doses were done at the Sheriff's Department, primarily law enforcement personnel getting their second doses. As far as this week goes, we got the balance of last week, 300 new first doses, and another 300 doses to catch up. This is our catch-up week. Accordingly, our ladies, our nurses, and our MRC staff will be doing 500 first doses at the Suny Fieldhouse at their pod tomorrow. We're saving 100 of those doses for early next week for remaining OPWDD and OASIS patients that are clients that are spread across the county that we have to put shots in arms for those. We will also do, after Thursday, on Friday, 300 second doses like we did last week. We did 100 last week, so those will be done at the field house again on Friday, 2/26. The big news in the plan is big thanks to Sheriff Favreau, Clinton Community College President DePasquale for their great efforts in helping us during a time of need. And that includes Suny Plattsburgh is going to start sports for the spring very, very soon, which means we're being more or less need to extricate ourselves out of the Suny Fieldhouse where we have our primary big pod. A lot of talk occurred, Eric, myself, the sheriff, President DePasquale. We will be using, starting next week, the Clinton Community College gym as our primary pod site. It presents all good things for us, including being on the bus line, and also we will not have to take down and reset up our pod tables and chairs that we do. That we're going to, Eric and I'm going to go help Kelly Donahue right after this meeting at the field house. This is the last week we'll be using the field house. Next week again we'll be moving our pod site to Clinton Community College gym. So that's big news. Also this week, I received a call from New York State Rep. Buck Bobbins. He called me on Monday to give me some good news. Mondays are crappy days, but he did tell us that Clinton County is at the top as far as distribution of vaccine. We are doing very, very well. Us and Hamilton County are at the top of the list. We're the best. In the North Country, that is. And finally, we've been talking about and shuffling around a concept that we want to try to take care of. That is a plan for new residents, especially at nursing home assisted living facilities that need to get their shots. You will recall that CVS and Walgreens Pharmacy did 3 separate trips to these facilities to get the residents their vaccinations. They are done. They're out of the ball game, but we still have new residents moving into these facilities. New York State Representative, Governor's right-hand man, Larry Schwartz, had a nice conference call with us. It is the plan of New York State to provide some extra doses to local health departments all across the state so that we can be the repository for those extra doses each of these nursing homes, Meadowbrook, Clinton County nursing homes, you name it, will need on an ongoing basis to vaccinate their new residents at their facilities. So, according to Larry from the state, it's not going to be an excessive burden for us paperwork-wise. We're only going to be a repository holding cold storage these extra vials of vaccine. So that's about it for me, but Mike will always say, I know I forgot something, so I'm going to say, Mike, anything else?
John, that was an outstanding report, probably your best ever.
Hey, oh, hey, there you go. Eric, did you want to talk about the gym at all?
I will add a couple of quick things. The gymnasium at the college is going to work well for us. Thank you, Sheriff, and the President DePasquale is a true gentleman and has offered basically anything and everything the campus can do up there for us to help us get that set up. So
We're great. We're very great. It's very grateful.
It's going to be nice. We've spent the last 3 or 4 weeks. The field house is a good location. It's easily accessible, maybe a little more so than the community college. However, it's setting up at night, tearing down the next night so that the track team can practice or they can put the nets down for the batting cage. It's a challenge. So we're looking forward to moving up there the end of the week or first part of next week. The only other thing I would add, we did learn from our on Tuesday's cooperators meeting. John and myself, Mr. Zerlo was in attendance today or Tuesday. Meet with CVPH and Suny. Do that every week and just talk about where we're standing with certain things. One of the items that we were briefed heavily on this past Tuesday from CVPH was this cluster that occurred within the hospital, within their staff, the ranks of their staff. The the long and the short of it, they've contained the spread of any COVID from this cluster, which actually occurred on 2 separate floors. They were not able to figure out how it got there, where it came from, other than they suspect that it was a asymptomatic staff member or two. They're not even sure how it got between the 2 different floors, the 2 different areas of the hospital, but they've contained that problem and continue to keep the hospital a safe place for people to go. They were on that heavy. State Health worked with them heavily, and they kept us surprised right along. So a good team effort there, and a lot of work on their part.
They are stellar with communication.
Absolutely.
They didn't have it bad enough with 20, 22 positive cases in-house. They had this mini cluster going on, so they really had their work cut out for them. And since Eric mentioned that, reminded me, I want to let you all know, Clinton Correctional Facility, their number of positive patients, inmates that is improving. Last week, I swear to God, they had 102 asymptomatic positive inmates and about 10 symptomatic. See what I mean? You see the difference? Most of your patients who are positive don't show any symptoms. Always remember that. That bears a big thinking process on schools too. Most of the kids that get sick show no symptoms. Right now they're down to 27 asymptomatic inmates and 4 symptomatic. That's a big improvement for Clinton Correctional Facility, and of course, that is directly related to our correction officers up there. So,
John, did we not hear at Cooperators that they are vaccinating both? The state is vaccinating both inmates and corrections officers in the state facilities.
They started 65 and over inmates in the annex in Dannemora the day before yesterday. They started on Monday. 65 and over. So they're starting to do inmates.
that's a good thing. That's not a moment too soon either. They got to move on that, and it's a good time that they do that now.
So, Chairman, the last thing I'll say is Eric is making progress on our reimbursement agreement with the state of New York for the vaccination sites. He's working with OGS contract procurement officer, and he and I are discussing, rates and such, and I think we're making progress on that.
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Anything else, gentlemen?
No, that's it. In a nutshell.
Okay.
Okay, Calvin, you have a question?
Yeah, as usual, John, the leftovers at Connecticut Avenue each day, do we carry them over, or do we have a plan to vaccinate people on a call-in basis, or what do we do with those?
Eric will talk about that. It's a big scatter effort every night.
So the state site continues to push towards 500 new first doses a day. They're generally about 470, and then they are also doing about the same number of second doses. So they're nearing 1,000 a day as planned or predicted. They have gotten much better and continue to control the thawing and draw-up process of Pfizer vaccine over there, such that throughout the day they're checking appointments and tracking what they've done versus what's made and how many they've pulled out. At the end of the day, in a nutshell, they have had, generally speaking, just about every night, no more than 1 or 2 doses, and those are in fact used. I continue to keep a list for them, and they'll call over if they don't have staff of their own that haven't been vaccinated yet. They'll call over and say, I need 1, I need 2. So I sent one person yesterday. I think I sent nothing the day before, 2. They're not wasting any, I guess, is the point, and it's down to pretty small numbers every day. But it is a chore at the end of the day every day to get a call or a text. I need somebody in 5 minutes.
You got 40 minutes to come up with 3 people. Hurry up, get them over here. Boom.
Yeah,
That's a tough thing to do.
I can imagine. I know when I got my first shot, the nurse said that the Moderna was looking at a second booster because of the variations. And any more on that for Moderna?
I have not heard anything new on that. comes out. Now they don't have to hold Pfizer, the latest scoop on the Pfizer, which had to be held down about 77 degrees below zero. Now it doesn't necessarily need to be held at that cold chain. I got a few of my nurses fighting that every inch of the way, you know, because they believe in what was the original plan. So things are changing every week. Keeping up with it is the chore.
I noticed Vermont's new rules. If you got your booster and you're 2 weeks past it, you can now visit. But you can't if you're over 3 months from your booster. I think your time is up. Are we learning as we go as far as how long this second shot is going to be effective?
Yes, and we currently changed our need to quarantine people that have had their 2 shots, and it's been at least 2 weeks since their second shot, but not more than 90 days. If they came in contact with a sick person, they don't have to quarantine. Now that doesn't count for people that are traveling, because the New York State rule on travel is you must abide by the specific quarantine for 4 or 5 days, get a test. If you're negative, then you're off quarantine. So New York State has the jurisdiction on that, but we're working with case contacts that have been vaccinated. They don't have to quarantine. So there's your benefit in getting the vaccination. But the 90-day thing, I got a good bet that will be extended to 120, 180 days. I'm just putting that out there for you. We'll have to wait and see where it goes.
Yeah, as we get more experience, we'll know more how effective it's been.
Yeah, this is the first time for everybody.
Right.
It's only been a year since we've been working on this. Can you
Right.
believe it?
Right. Thank you. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
Patty, you were next.
Yes, John. So my question to you is, you know, obviously I see a lot of elderly customers who do not have computers and are not sure how to get their vaccine. I mean, we can help them as we go, and a lot of us do. But is there somebody they can contact by telephone to help them figure out how to get their vaccines?
I will tell you right now, I'm very impressed with the efforts done by Darlene Collins over for the Office of Aging and her staff. She is leading the charge on this to provide assistance for those to hook them up with appropriate connections for.
So I should
vaccination.
refer them over to the Office of the Aging.
Well, Darlene Collins is very good at that one piece. She's good. She's struggling with us on a lot of other things, but we're all in the mess together, you know?
I think that, and honestly, and the other answer might be that anybody that is computer savvy can sign anybody else up. I was in Nick Leon's office today, and he was on the phone signing somebody up on the state site.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got them, but.
And pharmacies who have been tasked, like Kinney's, who have been tasked with 65 and over, those are where you want to go. You have that on your short list of who to call, and you don't quit. You keep calling them, so it works.
Thank you.
Rob, did you have a question? Thought I saw your, no? Anyone else have a question? All right. Thank you, John. Thank you, Eric. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Mr. Hughes, did you have anything to add before we move
Nope.
on?
Nope, that was it. That'd be the end of the report, just like today, the great job they're doing.
Human Services, Legislator Perrier.
Human Services Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Human Services Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, March 3rd at 4:15. End of report.
Thank you, sir. Personnel, I will do personnel. The next Personnel Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, March 1st at 4 p.m. Plattsburgh International Airport, Legislator Hall.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Plattsburgh International Airport Committee met on Wednesday, February 17th. Chris Craig, the airport director, provided updates on airline properties, projects, on COVID-19 funding, the vaccination site, and we went into executive session and talked about tenants. Resolutions 108 through 112 have been placed on the agenda, on today's agenda, on the recommendation of the committee. The next Plattsburgh International Airport Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, March 25th at 4 p.m. And I'll refer back to Mike on that one. If we're still on Zoom, we'll have to change that one. End of the report.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Legislator Caston.
I'll give you my report, but first I got a question for Francis on Human Services. Rob said the finance is by Zoom. I'm not on Human Services, but I'm just wondering if that Human Services meeting is going to be by Zoom also.
It's not been discussed yet, but it certainly can be. I can talk to Francis, and we can facilitate that.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not on it, so it doesn't concern me. But for the folks who are on it, okay. Public Safety Committee. Public Safety Committee has not met since our last regular session. Resolutions 113 through 116 were polled and placed on tonight's agenda upon the recommendation of the committee. The next Public Safety Committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for Monday, March 1st at 5 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Transportation, Legislator Hughes.
Transportation Committee has not met since the last regular session. The next Transportation Committee meeting is scheduled for Monday, March 8th at 5:15 p.m. End of report.
Thank you. Liaison reports we'll run through quickly. Chamber of Commerce, Legislator Potiker. No, that was no report. I read you.
It read my lips. No report.
Thank you. Cooperative Extension, Legislator Timmons.
Yes, we passed our budget for 21. We have a slight shortage to the balance of our budget. We have just enough money basically in a reserve for this year, but if we have to stay in this same gain for next year, it's not going to be good.
Okay,
End of report.
thank you. Discipline review, no report. Grievance, no report. Inter-county, Legislator Waldron.
We will be meeting tomorrow morning via Zoom with Saratoga County being the host of this month's inter-county meeting. Thank you.
LCLG Regional Planning Board, the Legislator Perrier and Hughes, either or.
We've got a meeting coming up. Other than that, no report.
Okay, thank you. Soil and Water, Legislator Perrier and Timmons.
Yes, we're looking to increase the no-till seeding and cover crops, I guess, in the county is going to be a big push. We're looking to do some more tire recycling for next year, and I think 3 locations of the county. We're looking at getting a new hydroseeder by grant to help with roadside erosion in the towns. And there might even be a chance for towns to get into a grant money to help with large diameter culverts. So if anybody has anything with that, they may want to reach out to Pete and see if they qualify.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I would like to request an executive session to talk about collective bargaining agreements.
Okay. Mr. Zerl.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, very, very briefly, we had previously spoke about the supplemental parking agreement and a couple outstanding questions that we had with the city of Plattsburgh. I communicated our discussion with the mayor. The mayor was more than amenable to incorporating or not incorporate what we had previously talked about. So they executed the agreement with all the terms and conditions that both parties had previously agreed to. So that is in effect. This evening, as Ms. Kelleher reported, we will be briefing the legislature on the PBA, status of the PBA negotiation. And I'm here to tell you that we are re-engaging with CSEA General Unit on March 3rd. So we are starting to move forward to hopefully come to an agreement, these collective bargaining agreements that have been delayed due to COVID. A couple quick hits. Mr. Timmons, I just want to thank you for for the sales tax that's being generated in a new store. I hear it's that we're going to tick up, at least 2 percentage points based on sales. And Mr. Potiker, I've not seen, I don't know where you are, but I've not seen that many cars in that parking lot, Mr. Hall, in quite some time. So things might be turning around at the airport too.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, no report from me, everything I was gonna talk about. Resolutions. Before voting on the resolution, I'd like to note that these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees, and the legislature is taking action tonight based in large part on the recommendations of those committees. Mr. Zerlo, would you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Certainly. Resolution 102, authorizing payment of membership dues, real property.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Oh,
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Francis, you got one job.
Resolution 103, approving application for refund, real property.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 104, authorizing memorandum of understanding with various polling sites, Board of Elections.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Waldron.
Yes.
Carried. Resolution 105, authorizing payment of membership dues, Board of Elections.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Timmons. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 106, authorizing Clinton County to apply for a permit for the use of the Suny Fieldhouse as a poll site, Board of Elections.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 107, authorizing bid for printing of election ballots, Board of Elections.
Motion, legislator Waldron, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 108, authorizing the purchasing agent to solicit bids for snow removal equipment, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 109, authorizing non-federal reimbursable agreement between the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, and Clinton County for temporary precision approach path indicator on runway 1735, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 110, authorizing contract with Han Welding Supply, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 111, authorizing payment of 2021 membership dues, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 112, authorizing final contract payment and settlement payment to Murnane Building Contractors Incorporated, Terminal Expansion Project Phase 2, Plattsburgh International.
Motion, legislator Hall, second, legislator Timmons.
I'm wondering why Ms. Waldron is smiling. I'm confused.
I don't know. I think we all are. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier.
Yes.
Ms. Waldron.
Yes.
Resolution 113, authorizing 2020-2021 public safety Answering Point Operation Grant Application, Emergency Services.
Motion, legislator Castine. Second, legislator Hall. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 114, authorizing payment of 2021 membership dues, District Attorney.
Motion, legislator Castine. Second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 115, authorizing payment of membership dues, Public Defender.
Motion, legislator Castine. Second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 116, authorizing payment of membership dues, Sheriff's Department.
Motion, legislator Castine. Second, legislator Waldron. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 117, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Child Advocacy Center Grant Program, District Attorney.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Castine. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 118, authorizing the county treasurer to increase appropriation and corresponding revenue for the Workforce and Investment Act Grant, Employment and Trading.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Hughes. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 119, authorizing the county treasurer to adjust appropriation and corresponding revenue for various Office for the Aging grants. Office for the Aging.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 120, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for the New York Connects Expansion and Enhancement Grant, Office for the Aging.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried.
Resolution 121, authorizing the county treasurer to establish appropriation and corresponding revenue for Youth Court Grant, Youth Bureau.
Motion, legislator Timmons. Second, legislator Potiker. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. I'd like a waiver, I'd like a motion rather to waive a Rule 13.2. Can I have a motion?
Move.
I have a motion by legislator Hughes, second by legislator Timmons. All in favor, or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution 122, authorizing lighter, quicker, cheaper grant applications, District Attorney's Office, Child Advocacy Center.
Motion, legislator Capstein. Second, legislator Perrier. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Perrier?
Yes.
Ms. Waldron?
Yes.
Carried. Okay. Anyone have anything further to discuss before the legislature? Before I enter into executive session?
So the only thing, Chairman, is obviously the sheriff is joined us this evening. We've invited him to participate in the executive session this evening.
Excellent.
Okay, I got a question. Not all the committee meetings, like you, Calvin brought up, I was gonna bring it up. How are we gonna handle that? Zoom or chambers?
If there is a conflict, Francis, between a Zoom meeting and a piggyback another standing committee meeting, we most likely will have to do both of them via Zoom. So we will work that out.
Okay, so you'll be getting in touch with us.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, can I have a motion to go? We did not do that.
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
Second. Okay, we're back in session. All right, we are back live. Before us, have a motion
motion.
Motion by legislator Hughes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned